Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, and a big hello to everyone. It's been a gloomy 7 days. I think it's the 7th or 8th day of the Russian-Ukrainian war, and we have only been hearing negative news about destruction, loss of life, or loss of property. So I just thought maybe let me share some interesting things about Ukraine. The war is the uglier side of humanity, but there are some beautiful things which are there in Ukraine. Let me share a few of them. Many of us may not be aware that leading applications like WhatsApp, PayPal, Snapchat, Clean My Mac, Grammarly, and Jubal. Now, these are the applications which got originated in Ukraine, and Jubal, the site that I mentioned, the last one, this application actually helps people find jobs in more than 71 countries. So, in a way, Ukraine is with us in all that we do, every moment of our life. Moving forward, Ukraine actually has a very high literacy rate, and it is in the vicinity of 98%. But still, it is the 16th most literate country in the world, because there are 7 countries with 100% literacy, and there are countries like Finland and Norway where the literacy rate is 100%. But with 98% literacy rate, it has become a hub of education. And no wonder we find that there are more than 800 leading higher education institutions in Ukraine, where they attract more than 75,000 students for studies, higher studies from more than 150 countries. India being the biggest contributor to this fraternity of students from outside, close to 22%, which is about 18,000 Indian students, and we have been hearing about them. The government is doing all that is possible to bring them back without any damage. So this is about the education side. When we move forward, we find that in terms of the gender breakup also, incidentally, females are much more than males. And when I say females are more than males, in terms of percentage, there are 53.7% females and 46.3% males, which means that females dominate in Ukraine, and because it is a high female density population, we find that the population growth is also been almost nil, and if I could say so, in the last few months it has been negative. And in terms of population, Ukraine must be losing about 430 persons every month. So it is a fairly stabilized gender breakup, with advantage being towards females. And since the Ukrainian females are known to be most beautiful female around, so there would be many females looking for eligible suitors also. In the same way, I would like to tell you that Ukraine is one of the biggest producers of honey also, and it produces. It is the biggest European producer and the 5th biggest producer of honey in the world. And you would be surprised to know that more than 7 lakh people in Ukraine, they are actually employed in this honey or beekeeping business, which is about, say, 1.5% of their population. And their production annually is 75,000 metric tons of honey. And you would also be surprised that their per capita production is 1.5 kilograms, but their per capita consumption also is 1 kilogram. So they eat a lot of, or they consume a lot of honey, which probably is the reason for their females being so beautiful. But the rest of the honey gets exported, and the major exports lead to the rest of the Europe. There is one point that I wanted to share. Most of their honey is actually sunflower based, and therefore it has a very low content of glucose, which leads to the honey getting crystallized faster than rest of the honey types available in the world. So out of Europe, other than Europe, this honey is not much in demand in North America and otherwise. Ukraine has also been known for its infrastructural marvel, that it has so many sites if I could name one, the first that comes to my mind is Swallow's Nest Castle. It is a civil engineering marvel, if I could say so, because built in 1911, this castle actually a part of the facade, or if I could say the balconies, etc. They are kind of leaping into the Crimean Sea. If you look at the picture of that castle, you will find that these parts seem to be hanging in air, but still the structure has been intact. Despite the fact that in 1924 there was an earthquake, even then the castle is still standing strongly, and no wonder many leading Soviet movies were shot at this site. Now, talking about the infrastructural marvel, I am also reminded of ARSENALNA, which is the metro station on the Kiev metro service, which is Kiev is their capital. Now, this metro station is known for the fact that it is the deepest metro station in the world. It is 105.5 meter deep, and that makes it again another civil engineering wonder. And this metro station, because of its being so deep, was also notified. It was also notified as a bomb shelter on 4th of February, when much before the war that began on 24th of February. Another very interesting thing about this ARSENALNA metro station is that because of its depth, the escalator which takes you there or takes you out takes about 5 minutes of ride, and it often is termed as a boring experience by many tourists because it takes that long. Now, in the same vein, I would like to bring to your notice that the biggest aircraft in the world, the cargo aircraft, the Antonov AN225, which is known as Miria or Dream in their language, was also manufactured by Ukraine in the year 1988. This cargo plane has 32 wheels with 16 pairs being there, 6 turbo engines to actually power it, and it is 275 feet long and 59 feet high. So this therefore is a wonderful aviation wonder. But there are reports that in the recent shelling by the Russian Air Force, most probably this aviation wonder has been destroyed, and there is a great amount of anxiety in the aviation industry, because this always enjoyed a cult figure or cult eminence in the aviation industry. And there are reports that if in order to restore this, it would require about 5 years and an expenditure of $3 billion. Now, and to sum up the list of these wonders, you just cannot forget that Ukraine is best known for its breads. And as we all know, Ukraine was known as it was the most fertile part of the Soviet Union. And when the Soviet Union was one unit, although there were 15 republics, but Ukraine used to contribute nearly 25% of food grains. And no wonder their breads are popular across Europe, and there are very few households in Europe which would not have a Ukrainian bread in breakfast. And the most popular bread there is Paska, and then Korovai is another bread. And as in India, we offer water to a visitor to our place, in Ukraine, they offer bread with some salt sprinkled on it. So I'm very sure you must have found all these interesting facts really interesting, really exciting, and we wish Ukraine all the very best. Ukraine is beautiful, but the world is much more beautiful. Let there be peace in the world. Let this war get over soon, and let world be a happier place to live. Namaskar.